We've talked about the Powerpuff Girls a few times on this channel, but what if I told you that there was a villain in their show that we don't talk about enough? No, not him. Well, at least not yet. No, today I'm talking about Bubbles. And this is the day that she turned evil and almost took over the world. Our story takes us back to the city of Townsville that is under renovation, and I wonder how much money they spend on construction on a weekly basis, since something is blowing the city up about 7 times a week. And this week is no different, because Mojo Jojo is out here causing mayhem. Why? Because he can. So the Powerpuff Girls swoop in ready to beat him again, and that's when Mojo shoots one of the steel beams down, and while Blossom and Buttercup get away, it ends up hitting Bubbles on the head and knocking her out. And as she's laying there on the ground, Mojo is over there yapping about how he knocked her out, and this yap session was going to be enough to create a monster. So Bubbles wakes up in their bed and starts looking around confused, like she doesn't know why she's there, like she doesn't recognize being in her own bed, and she takes off her bandages and flies away. And then we cut back to Mojo Jojo's lair, and this monkey is getting out of a shower fresh off a day of being evil, because apparently being evil is a job occupation out here. He was just terrorizing the entire city and he gets to go home. Like, I guess there's no jail time when y'all renovating, right? And as he goes to get his clothes, he is kicked out of his own hideout in nothing but a towel. And then later that day, the girls get a call from the mayor that says that Mojo Jojo is downtown on his afternoon havoc spree. But when the girls get down there, they see a figure driving the machine and they think that it's Mojo Jojo. But standing to their left was, well, Mojo Jojo. And I'm not gonna lie, he didn't deserve what happened next, because Buttercup runs up on him and starts giving him the hands, and he ain't even the one causing problems. Why is it always on sight with this monkey? So the machine finally stops, and walking out of the machine is none other than Bubbles. Yes, that hit to the head combined with Mojo Jojo's yapping has her thinking that she is the real Mojo Jojo. And she is so good at being Mojo Jojo that she even has the yap sessions down. So while she's over there yapping, Blossom tries to talk some sense into Bubbles, but Bubbles ain't trying to hear none of that. So she continues to yap, walks over to Blossom, grabs her by the shirt just to toss her into a wall. And boy, Blossom was ready to beat the brakes off of Bubbles. But if you really pay attention, Bubbles was sitting there waiting on her to run up just to give her some more of them hands. So Buttercup stops Blossom from fighting Bubbles, and in the middle of Buttercup trying to calm Blossom down, Bubbles looks at Buttercup and says, "What's wrong, Buttercup? You scared I'm gonna whoop the skirt off you?" So Blossom gets on her own yap session to stop Buttercup from crashing out on Bubbles. And she stands there talking about how they're heroes and how they gotta be good and blah, 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 blah. Just fight already. And that's when Bubbles gets sick of hearing them talking and tells them to run them hands. And she proceeds to run up on the girls and beat the hell out of them. She grabs Blossom by her shirt just to gut check her, and then goes and gets Buttercup just to beat her in the face. And then she goes and picks up a school bus just to throw it at her sisters, and after the bus hits them, she pulls out the ultimate and fries them just to drop them into a crater. Bro, she just dropped them like they was light work. She literally can take over the world because she just beat the Powerpuff Girls like it was nothing. But here's the thing, and this is why she doesn't stay evil, because she thinks she's Mojo Jojo. And if you know anything about Mojo Jojo, he's a yapper. And as Bubbles starts yapping because she thinks she's Mojo Jojo, the monkey comes over there and hits her in the head with another steel beam, and then proceeds to have his own yap session about he's the one and only Mojo Jojo. But his victory will be short-lived, because when Bubbles wakes up, she is back to being Bubbles, and it is on sight. And she proceeds to beat the brakes off Mojo Jojo, and thank God she is back on the side of good, because they would not have been able to deal with her if she stayed evil. But anyway, subscribe if you're new, watch one of these videos next, and until next time, stay sweet, baby.